All right. I think we're good now. What's up? What's up? All right. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Is everything good? I have no clue. This is the first time I'm doing this, so hopefully we're good. Da, 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 da. Okay. I think I figured out the issue. What's up? What's up? All right. Can you guys hear me? All right. So am I good? Yeah, we're good. All right, cool. What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? All right. All right, here we go. Here we go. We're in here. All right, good. Um I'm trying to figure out how to you guys are going to have to bear with me, man. I'm sorry cuz I've never done this before. Look, I've never done this before. Um and then I turn out to be a pro, which is usually the case. No, but yeah, so I've never gone live before, so this is we'll see how this goes. Just first of all, can you guys hear me? Is everything clear? You can see me, you can hear me, everything good? Just quick mic check. It's mineral water, by the way, for those of you wondering. All right, cool. So I think we got issue. Oh, no issues. Audio should be good. I got audio out, video out. All right, cool. All right, so man, I think we got some people in here, which is dope. Um, man, this is all right. Okay, so seems there's a little bit of latency here in what we're doing between uh, YouTube and the actual stream, but that's all right. Um, I was just gonna wait for maybe just 10 of y'all to get in here, but this is dope. So we already got says we got enough people in here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So man, right off the bat, let's just see who all's in here. Elong 087, congrats on the 300. I appreciate that, man. I couldn't hand out drugs to 3,000 people, so that's it's nuts to me that there's 3,000 of y'all subscribed, which is very humbling, and I appreciate it. Um, so first thing, is this the gym rate guy from Instagram? No, this is not. I am not the gym rate guy from Instagram. This was somebody brought that to my attention the other day. I started kind of looking through very high level at his Instagram. He seems to have a lot of data in there. It seems to be very snapshot specific, very card specific. And it seems like the guy, whoever put that together, has done some serious legwork. So I'm going to be diving into that a little bit more as I get an opportunity to. Like I said, I saw a couple of the comments on my on the last video that I did about that Instagram page. So I did go check it out. I do follow it, and I did see just some of the really quick things I saw there. It seems like he's got some pretty good stuff. So I'm gonna check it out. Maybe even reach out and see, what we could possibly do to maybe do some work together, because I think the guy's doing some good work. So no, that is not me. I wish I had the time and the resources to put together that level of data and that level of infographics that he's got. It seems to be pretty good. So no, I don't. That's not me. Sorry. Serious drama. That's not me. I wish it was. What's up, MB? What's up? Let's see. Daddy Waffles in the house. Star Wars Living in the house. What's up? Let's see who else is here. Carlos de Jesus. That's a nice, strong Latin name. I like that. Global Sports Card Investors in the house. Charm Cities in the house. What's up, everybody? Can y'all hear me? Everything's good. Just give me a quick yes, we're good. Let's see. Inglorious P, what up, brother? How you doing, man? What else we got in here? Williamette Trading Company. I like that. Williamette. What's up, guy? Scott, Daddy Waffles, Scott, William. All right. Holy Beast, what's up? Man, doing good, brother. Doing good on this end, man. I'm just happy. This is man, this is nuts to me. So I started this channel because um, I was getting a lot of feedback when I would go live on my personal Facebook and open up basketball cards and football cards. And it was my brother who told me, "Hey man, you should do that on YouTube." And then I was inspired down the street from where I live. Actually, a really good friend of mine has a YouTube channel that's very successful, almost 100,000 subscribers, and he makes a living off of that. And I just thought to myself, hey, I like doing this, so I might as well crack open a YouTube channel. So that's kind of how that all started. So yeah, it's absolutely nuts for me that there's absolutely 3,000 of y'all that tune in and follow me. So I really appreciate that. All right, Star Wars Living. Oh, hey, thanks, man, for that super chat. I think that's what that is, right? That's dope, man. Thank you so much. Quite a bit of work goes into that. I appreciate it. CJ, what's up, brother? Get those cards packaged up and we'll send them out Monday, Tuesday. Oh, yeah, CJ, my man, I appreciate that. Yeah, we got a little giveaway coming up, sponsored by my man CJ Perry there. Vaso, what's up, buddy? Okay, so what we came in here for, which is kind of the gym rate and the PSA 10 rate data, PSA 9s, and pretty much anything 8 and below. So I'll kind of get jumping into that, and we'll talk a little bit about how I got there, where I'm pulling the data from, and then some of the other places that I had to go digging for some historic data and things like that. So what I'll do is kind of show you guys kind of the raw side of the data and kind of how I got there. And then I'll move into some charts and some graphs and stuff like that to just talk about what I've seen and what I see. And then we can talk a little bit about, you guys can throw some comments out there and tell me what you guys think about the data and what it's telling us. So, all right, let's go ahead and kind of kick this over. So let me see if hopefully this will work. I think it should. All right. So as any other video that I've done, or as if you guys follow the PSA updates on a weekly basis, you'll know that there's a video out there where I've kind of went through in depth with the data set, where I got it from, and how everything kind of came to be, my logic and some of the holes that I had to fill with logic and all that stuff. So that's what this we'll spend a few minutes just kind of going through that. So we'll start off with this set of data right here, okay? Because this is a really important piece of data that I pulled. And this is when I started pulling the gym rate data, okay? So what I did is I went into PSA's pop report, went to the basketball section, because that's what was more important to me. You guys know I live and die in basketball, so I went into the basketball section of the PSA data, and I went and looked at every single year from 2019 all the way to the 2000, so 19 years of data of cards, like card sets. And then I went and plucked 96, 86, 87, 88, and 89. And if you guys follow basketball cards, and you're a collector, then you know why I picked 96, 86, 87, 88, and 89. So 96 being Kobe's rookie year, 86 obviously the classic 86 Fleer, and then 87, 88, and 89, because once 86 Fleer took off, 87, 88, and 89 just became that much more popular. Also, anything 2000 and above, I mean, we're talking about so many Hall of Famers, so many rookie cards, so many big names. 2003, obviously the big one with LeBron James's rookie cards being in there. 2007, again with Kevin Durant's rookie card being a big one. 2009, Steph Curry's cards being a big one. And then 2019, of course, where things just really popped off in terms of collectors and stuff like that. That's kind of where the hobby really just took off and took flight. And then of course you got 2018, which has Luka's rookie cards. 2017, which we can get into. What's the guy? The kid on the Celtics name. I forget his name, but there's so many other cards in here that we can look at. But so what I wanted to do was set a baseline and pull the data, right? So as of if I'm looking at the day that I snapshotted this data, which was in May, the 6th of May this year, which is about 2 months ago, from that day backwards, from the time that they opened up the PSA pop reports, by the time they created it. So everything that was loaded from the creation date all the way up until May 6, 2021, the gem rates was 41%. Okay. Tatum. There you go. Tatum is his name. God dog it. I don't know why his name slipped my mind. The gem rate was 41%. So if you sent in a card that you felt was worthy of a Gem Mint 10, or if you sent in a card, 41% of the cards that were being sent in were coming back a PSA 10, 37% of them were coming back a PSA 9, and 21% of them were coming back PSA 8 and lower. Okay, so that's the averages of everything that I pulled data for. And so I understand that I didn't pull every single bit of data, but I pulled enough of a sample set that I felt comfortable with having a big enough set of data that I felt good with the averages kind of working out. Now, if we take a look at this by year, then obviously it's going to tell a different story, right? So because it was 2021, any card that got submitted in 2019, I mean, look at the PSA 8 data, the eights rate, PSA 8 was only 5%. So 53% of those cards that were being sent in that were 2019 sets were coming back gem rates, which is above the average, right? So what I wanted to do was I said, okay, if that's where we currently are, that's where the data set is now, right? And we're saying, okay, that is the snapshot. Okay, where are we now going forward? So what I did is every single day, I didn't have to do this every day because I was playing in percentages and I was playing in net change. So if we had a 93,700 or 937,844 pop report for 2019, then when I took the snapshot again, all I really needed to know what the delta was what the delta was. So it grew a little bit, and then now it's a total of 5,100 cards got graded in one day, and then I can then pull the gem rates for that going forward. So what I did was I went in there every so often, every day. Sometimes when I would remember, I went in there and I took another snapshot, and then I would do a net change, and then I would do the percentages on that net change. And then I'd go in there again, maybe a couple of days, sometimes even a week later, and I'd take another snapshot and another snapshot and another snapshot. I took a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 snapshots total over a period of about a month. Okay. And for each one of those, I started looking at the gem rates. Okay. And so that led me to this data here where I'm looking at, the gem rates and what the gem rates are, and how things kind of pan out. So what this chart is going to show us here is that we're looking at 2019. Let me make sure that my head is not in the way here, because I forget about my head sometimes. All right, I think we're good. I think that's good there. All right. So all that data that I put together kind of culminated into this, right? So in 2021, this is what the data looks like. So the gem rates for 2019 were pretty high, about 50% overall during the time span that I pulled the data. So the gem rates were pretty high. I mean, we had about close to a 50% gem rate. And then as you would expect, it kind of dwindled down as you got there. Okay. So for 2019 sets, it went down a little bit. And then as you get into the mid 2000s, it went down a little bit more. And then as you get into the lower 2000s or the early 2000s, it went down. And then right around here, it took this drastic drop. Okay. Where now we're looking at 1996, where it was a 7%. 86 was a 1% gem rate. 87 was a 1% gem rate. 88 and 89 were 6 and 15%. Okay. So what I wanted to do was I thought to myself, well, damn, that's pretty serious. If you're looking at a gem rate for 86 Fleer right now, it's about 1%. And then 8 or less is 84%, which kind of makes sense if you think about it. it's we got to find out, what that, if you're sending in a card that's 1986, I mean, unless you're pulling it pack fresh, chances are it's kind of dinged up. It's been there for a while. So I would expect this kind of, upward rise of the blue, which is 8 or less, right? So as the newer the card is, the better chance it has of getting a high grade. The only thing is that if we're looking at, for example, 2003 or 2007, I mean, significantly less gem rate in 2007. There's a significantly lower gem rate in 2003, which in comparison, if you're looking at a 20%, then it drops to 18%. 96 obviously is another big one here. So then I thought to myself, okay, the data kind of makes sense. One of the reasons why I started to do this was because I thought to myself, well, we keep throwing around this idea of pop control, right? And I'm thinking to myself, well, is it really pop control? I mean, are they really looking at the cards and saying, oh no, this is a 2003 LeBron James. I can't give this a 10. It's let me look at the pop control. Let me look at the pop report. There's already too many of those in here. This one would really be a 10, but now we're going to give it a 9, just because there's too many 10s out there. That was kind of the reason what compelled me to do all of this, right? And if I'm honestly looking at the data from the day that I took the snapshot, the answer is no, right? The answer is no, because even though we got a significantly less gem rate, say in 2007, there's a little bit of a less gem rate in 2009, and in 2003, it's a small gem rate also as well. It's not anything too drastic. So that really led me to think, okay, there really isn't anything going on. And I had no way of going back at the time. I didn't think I had any way of going back in time and taking a snapshot from a much earlier pop report before, say, the boom took off, right? Or before the boom happened. And so what I decided to do was okay, this is the best I can do. And as far as the evidence is concerned, I don't really see anything too fishy in terms of the pop report. I mean, yes, you can make an argument that in 2017, the gem rate's only 11%, as opposed to 2008 when it was 25, and as opposed to 2006 when it was 20, right? But you can also take a look at volume for 2007 and say, well, maybe they just sent in a crap load more cards. But, you can make an argument like, really, half? I mean, the gem rate is half? Like, what's the reason for the gem rate being half, right? 2003, there wasn't really a big drop. I mean, it was in the 20s, and then it went to 18%, which you can say there's a little bit of bias there, and then popped right back up to 20% in 2002. So, again, not really anything big that you can shake a stick at. It's not like, 2004 had a 20% gem rate, 2003 was a 2% gem rate, and then 2002 popped back up to a 20% gem rate, to where you can go, oh, that's super fishy. I mean, it's with plus or minus 5%. I mean, you can't really argue with that too much. Until I talked to my brother, and you got to understand, we grew up in the age of the internet. We were lucky enough to have my mother, who worked for, at the time, was Compaq. Those of you old schools, old heads, know about Compaq computers, which became HP. So we were lucky enough to be one of the very few households in my neighborhood, because we didn't grow up in the nicest of neighborhoods. We didn't grow up in the slums either, but we were one of the first to have a computer in our neighborhood. And so we're really good at computers, really good at dealing with messing around with things. And so my brother told me about, he said, man, what would be dope? I was explaining to my brother that I really didn't see anything in the population control situation. And he said, what would be interesting to see is if you could go back and look at, if you can go back and look at what the pop report was in 2016. I was telling my brother this, and he says, dude, you can totally do that. Go to archive.org and use their, what they call a Wayback Machine, and see if anybody snapshotted the data. So I was like, what? Like, I didn't even know that existed until he told me about it. And so, armed with that little bit of data, I went and started doing some digging. Okay, so I'm going to flip off of this for a second. So here I am pulling this data, and it's 2021 data, and it looks pretty decent. and I said, okay, that's fine. I'm not even gonna mess with it. There's really no sign of population control going on that I can see. You could make an argument, but there really isn't anything too crazy. And so I said, okay, fine. I had a Packard Bell. Yeah. So anyway, so I went and I started looking, and I found one snapshot from 2016 that somebody went in there in 2016 and took a snapshot of the pop report, one in 2017 and one in 2019. So here's what I found. Okay, the snapshots that I took, I'll kind of just show you guys where they are. So here's 2016. I was able to find this gem rate data. Okay, here's 2017, which also, again, gem rate data I was able to find there. 2019, we'll get to 2019 in a second. So I put them all together here, and this is where things got really interesting, okay? Because you'll notice in 2016, the gem rate data was pretty consistent from 2016 to 2017, 2018. There was no snapshot in 2018, so I wasn't able to take a snapshot in 2018. But in 2019, from 2016 to 2019, it was pretty consistent. 20% 8 or below, 30% 9s, and about 40 to 50% 10s. That was the gem rate back then, okay? And then if you take a look at the snapshot that I took on May 6th, which would have included everything up until May 6th, it was holding pretty true. 21%, 37% for the 9s. It had gone up a little bit, and 41% for 10, so it had gone down a little bit. So there was a little bit of difference there. You could tell that there was something going on. But then when I took that snapshot and then started taking snapshots after that, which is what we just saw in that 2021 data, it dropped drastically. It went from a 41% gem rate, or an average of, let me see, what's this average here? An average of about 45% gem rate to 21. And then it went from an average of about 33% 9s to 44. And then it went from an average of about 20% 8s and belows to 32. So that's a pretty good jump. But the big smoking gun here is this 41% to 21%. And I mean, you could see it in the graphs. I made a kind of pretty little graph for you guys to see. But Pittsburgh, what's up? See, we got some more people joining in here, man. I appreciate y'all coming in. I'm gonna post this, obviously, and you guys should be able to go back and watch it. I'm gonna try not to make this any longer than one of my normal videos would be. I'm afraid I might have to jump in there and cut it up a little bit. But those of you that are just now joining, man, thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. We're just kind of getting into the mix. I just went over how I pulled the data, where I pulled it from, and how I'm getting my information. But this is really the meat and potatoes of it right here. So 2016, 2017, no snapshot for 2018. There was one for 2019. And, you know, here's where we are, right? A pretty big drop in the data. So, you know, I thought to myself, holy crap, man, this is nuts that it dropped that hard from 41% to 21%. It's a 20% drop in how many 10s are being given, starting from the data that I took on May 6th, 2021. So, you know, that's kind of where we're at. Let me take a look and see. Let me see what you guys are saying. William Met Trading Company. It's like graders were told, you better be damn sure before you give a 10. Yeah. So there's a little bit to that, right? Where there's, you know, if you think about 2017, right? A PSA worker at 2017 who's grading cards, the hobby really hadn't blown up yet. You know, and if you're grading a LeBron James in 2017, it may be worth a couple $1,000s. Whereas opposed to even an 86 Fleer worth maybe $15,000. I mean, it's still a big card, but, you know, nowhere near the $250,000 that these cards are fetching now. I mean, the Steph Curry just sold for, what was it, $4.6 million. I mean, that's insane. So, yeah, there's a little bit to that, I think, where, I mean, I'm not going to say that PSA was telling them to do that, but, I mean, there's something to that. There's definitely a human factor there that I think whenever Nat Turner did his interview with a sports card investor, that I thought it was absolutely just comical or even insulting a little bit that he didn't even address that, right? Because it's such a big thing to say. Yeah, absolutely. We're putting $250,000 cards in these guys' hands, and the difference between a 10 and a 9 can be the difference between getting 250,000 or 500,000. So yeah, there's a burden there for them. Let's see let's see if you got any. Christian, thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. But let me see, where are we at here? That's exactly why everyone's getting 8s and 9s. Well, yeah. So the rate at which people are getting 8s and 9s has gone up substantially, by 12% in both categories, right? So 10 to 12%. So it's definitely changed for sure. MB, they could be right to some degree. We all know that people have been sending in a ton of cards, and they probably shouldn't be due to the hobby boom. There is absolutely that going on, where you just have a bunch of inexperienced people sending in a bunch of cards. But I think along with the volume, it should follow some sort of trend unless something drastically changed, right? That could be one of them. And then the other one is the idea that the card is worth way more now. But to me, those two things go hand in hand, right? So if a card is worth way more money now, you got two things going on. You got more people subbing that card, and then you also got the card being in the hands of somebody who is afraid to death to give a bad grade on it. Because the other thing you got to remember here is that PSA guarantees their grade. So if they grade a card and it's wrong, PSA is going to buy that card back or pay you the difference. So they have a financial incentive to get the grade right and scrutinize it a little harder now, because the hobby is under this massive boom and it's under this massive microscope. And so I think there's a little bit of that as well. So yeah, thanks for that, MB. So people are starting to get their disappointing returns around May, and the data shows. Yeah. So I just watched somebody, I can't remember the guy's YouTube page, but I watched it this morning, and he got some just horrific grades. I mean, and again, this is somebody that's been subbing for a long time and was getting this, right? Getting the 50% returns, gem rate return, who was getting 7s and 6s, and I mean, it was just bad. So there's a little bit of that going on. Let's see here. David B also shows the inconsistency in their grades that everybody's talking about. Yeah, and I think I think more than anything, that's my problem, right? My problem is that is the inconsistency, right? I don't care what you give the card, right? But give the card the same thing. There seems to be no set, pace, or there's no set requirement for what these cards are. I mean, they have it up on their website, right, of what their requirements are for a gem rate, for a gem 10, right? But I just don't know that, even though that there's those are more like guidelines to me more than anything. So I just wish you see so many cards that are that are a 10, that get a 10, and then like the graders going, or the group submitter guys going, well, this 9 looks exactly like this 10. Like, what the hell? Like, or even for some guy, this 8 looks exactly like this 10. Like, what the hell? So there's a little bit of that, and just there at the end of the day, there's still people that are doing this, right? But it kind of is what it is. You know what I just realized? I think my what's this thing called here? My watermark is right over my face. So maybe that's a good thing. Y'all don't got to look at my face. Maybe it's a bad thing. I don't know. I'd like to think I'm pretty handsome, but anyway. All right. So let's see. Yeah. Michael Runyon. I hope I said that right. People are sending in massive amounts of 80s and 90s base cards thinking that there will be 10s. Look at the 55,000 Jordans graded last month. That's for sure dragging down the rates. You're absolutely true. You're absolutely correct. So that's what I'm glad you said that, Michael. Thank you for bringing that up, because that's exactly what I thought. Okay, so because of that, I started looking into. That was a great segue. I swear I did not pay Michael to do that. That's one of the main reasons why when I pulled this gem rate data, I could have very easily just went in there and just took a snapshot of the overall population, right? But what I decided to do was really go in there by year, by year, and pull by a set year. So to your point, right, 1986, 1986, they have a 1% gem rate when I pulled the data for 2021. But if we look at it in 2016, that gem rate was 5 points higher, 6%. Okay. So let's take a look at 2007 was 11% in 2021, and it was 61%, almost 62%. It was 61%. So you mean to tell me that people who were submitting in 2016 were that much better at submitting than people in 2021? I would think that volume and inexperience would account for some reduction. I don't think it's going to account for a 50% reduction in gem rates. I don't think it's going to be that bad. So yeah, I mean, 2007 is a big one, but look at this one. In 2003, when I was pulling the data, it was an 18% gem rate for anything 2003. And let's face it, if you go into the pop report for 2003, there's only 3 cards that really matter, or 3 sets that really matter: the Topps Chrome, and maybe the Bowman, and a couple other like big LeBron James rookie cards, right? Those are going to have the most volume. They're going to have the most cards graded. Okay, so as of May in 2021, it was an 18% gem rate. But if you go back to 2016, when I pulled that data from the Wayback Machine, it was 50%. 50%. We're talking about a 40% or almost a 30% drop in how many were given a 10. Now, some of that can be due to inexperience of the people submitting the card, but I just don't think that it's that drastic. I mean, I would expect the gem rate to drop maybe 10-15%. 10 to 15% because of the volume and the people that are inexperienced and don't know what they're doing and going, oh, I got a LeBron James rookie card, I'm going to submit it in hope to get a 10. And really, it's a dog shit card, and it should get a 6 or a 7 or an 8. But I just don't think that, and so your comment, Michael, is exactly my point, because that's one of the reasons why I didn't pull 90, 91, 92. Why? Because that's junk wax, right? They were running those things off of the printers like crazy. They were cutting them. Crazy Eyes was cutting them from Mr. Deeds. He was doing all the cutting on with scissors. Those were, I mean, anything from that era, from 90 to 98, was pretty much dog shit. I mean, that's why I pulled from 2000 and up. Right, because it was just a mass overproduction during that year, and they're just terrible cards. I mean, I've experienced that myself, and you guys know that year of data, that year of cards is like my shit. Like that, I love those cards, but I mean, you're not gonna get good gem rates for all that kind of stuff because they were badly cut cards. Let me see here. So yeah, so thanks for that, Michael. But you kind of brought me to my next point, which is looking at this individually from a standpoint of like really looking at like 2009, for example. I mean, we literally just had the highest card sale for a card in 2009, which was the Curry rookie. We got a 17% gem rate for 2009 for any set in 2009 this year. But if you look at it, it was 61% in 2009 in 2016. We're only talking about 5 years removed here, and it was a 61% gem rate. So, it's really hard for me to see those drastic drops in gem rates for some of the more iconic years in basketball, and not raise an eyebrow at that. I mean, we went from a 6% gem rate to a 1% gem rate in 2021 for 86 Fleer. So thanks for that, Michael. I appreciate that comment, man. Not fine as but you look fine as in no watermark. I appreciate that. Let's see. Fleer couldn't print a centered card in 1990 if their life depended on it. Completely agree, MB. It's grade manipulation. So, my whole idea for this was to show you guys the data that I pulled and then let you guys decide. I'll give you guys kind of a summary of what I think is going on and ultimately. So, Vaso, man, I'm not even gonna try that Vaso. I apologize, brother, but I'm not even gonna butcher that. So there's definitely more people sending in garbage. Don't think that explains the dip though. So I would expect a dip to happen because people are sending in garbage. What I don't expect is that massive of a change and that massive of a dip. So another thing to note, right, is that if you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, well, there's a big gap between 2016 and 2019 and 2021, and I would agree. Okay, so if I look at the gem rates for everything up until the day that I pulled that data, if you look at 2003, if I hide, let me see, I'm going to hide all this right here. And we're just going to look at the averages. Format, column, hide. Okay. So, like I said before, this was the day that I pulled the data, the first day that I pulled the data versus everything after that. So if you look at 2003, and I'm zeroing in on 2003 because that is the biggest to me. That's like the King Griffey Jr. Of our era. I mean, you could argue that it was Zion, but you know, it's kind of the big card, right? It's the most notable. Even before that, it was a 24% gem rate, or sorry, a 36% gem rate in 2000 for the immediate. Oh shit, what did I do? Let me see. We're gonna format. Column, hide. 2003 was a 36% gem rate. Then it dropped down to an 18% gem rate. So again, you know, if I'm talking about a 10-15% dip in that has been pushed by the fact that people don't know what to send in and they have no clue what they're sending in, then I could buy that. But I mean, you're talking about half, you know, cut in absolute half. And this is just within a 6-month span, you know, where things have really been like hitting the roof in the last, you know, 18 months. So, you know, there's just so much that we can look at in terms of what we're looking at here. But I think the most important thing to look at and to take away is, you know, that there has been a significant change in the gem rates. Oh shit, what did I do? Okay, there we go. Is that there has been a significant change in the gem rates. And what can we attribute that to? You know, we can speculate, but nobody really knows. Let's see here. All right. So yeah, so thank you for that, Vaso. Let me see here. Kyle Collins, what's up, bro? Could be that the period they just graded corresponded in the time period when everyone was sending in. Jordan 90s cards were really much more difficult grades. Still a 2, but yeah, again, so good comment there, Kyle. I mean, yeah, you could attribute that to some of the, you know, just the year that they graded it. You know, everything was kind of going, how everything was going in that year. And I would attribute some of that reduction to that, but not this significant of a reduction. And like you said, 20%, right? Or the 20% drop. I just don't see that being that way. Not from one year to the next. And definitely not within a 6-month time span. To see that big of a drop within a 6-month time span just doesn't make any sense. Let's see. Marvelous packs, even with the non-difficult to pull grades in the early 90s, centering and cutting were awful. Yeah, I agree. I mean, guys, I've ripped a ton of wax. And when I say wax, I'm not just calling it wax like, you know, like the Blez Sports, they call it like anything boxed wax, and you know, so does Sports Card Investor. I'm talking about like legit early 90s to late 90s wax. I've ripped a bunch of that stuff, and they're just some bad cards in there. So I agree. It's pretty bad. It doesn't take a genius to see a card is flawless. I don't believe them to have the same standard of grading as they did before, and it's just newbies submitting. Yeah, again, I agree. I agree with that. I think their standards have changed. And here's the other thing too. If they would just talk about it and say, hey, guys, you know, things have tightened up. You know, we have trained our new graders and are really enforcing some of the standards that we want to enforce. Like, I could kind of get behind some of that, where they were saying, hey, we were a little bit loosey goosey, but they're not going to do that. Why? Because then that means that all of their gem rate 10s are now in question. It's just not going to happen. Carlos, my opinion, graders are being forced to not gem, especially if they have an abundance of that one card. Maybe. I mean, I would really be curious to know if a grader accesses a pop report before grading that card. That can have an inherent, bias for that person. But then again, if we're gonna talk about how the '90s wax era produced some really shitty cards in terms of quality, then and that's the reason why there isn't that many 10s for that era of cards, then why can we not accept the fact that in 2021 our manufacturing practices are much more stringent, they're a lot better, we have a lot better equipment, and because of that we're cutting better cards, and and thus the gem rate should be higher because quality is a little bit better. Now I say that, but this year's Prism was absolute dog shit. And I mean, just there was off-centering issues for days, but I ripped 90 stuff till today, and the bricking was awful. Marvelous, I feel your pain, brother. I was on the hunt for a Penny Hardaway rookie card, and you can see it in one of the videos. I pulled it, and it was stuck to the back of another card, and it ripped off a chunk of the gloss, and I was so pissed off. It was the worst. It was tough. David B, what's up, brother? Maybe the size of the graders at PSA also increased, causing the inexperience to go down, or the experience to go down, and now they're getting more experienced in grading. So yeah, there's a little bit of that too, right? I mean, you're talking about maybe graders who've been there for years versus some guy that they just hired off the street yesterday. I can't help but to think that during a time in the pandemic where people were losing their jobs left and right, and were didn't have a job, people were needing to pay rent, stuff like that, and then here comes PSA and says, hey, we're hiring. I'd imagine everybody and their mother ran to PSA and put in an application, and I would imagine that PSA, dealing with the influx of orders that they had and everything they had going on, said, hey, if you're a warm body and you got 20/20 vision and you can read and write, come on. And so there's a little bit of that going on there, but we'll see what we'll see what keeps coming out. It's just, it ultimately ends up with the volume and stuff coming in. But again, I just don't think volume is really can explain such a drastic drop in percentage. It's nuts. It's nuts. And I just got to think that they're doing something different, and I got to think that they have a different standard. Sorry guys, let me cut this off because this thing is going nuts. I got to think something changed, something went different, and what that is, I don't know. So I'm already like 15 minutes over what I originally thought I was gonna do, but I think I kind of drove home the point. I may just post this video or leave it up there on the stream. So what do you guys think? I'll give you guys my final kind of just thought at the end of all this, and as I was finishing pulling the data and as I was putting these charts together and things like that, I think that there's three things that are going on here, and I think you guys have, once again, I've said this before, you guys are so smart, and it's one of the things that I appreciate about you guys in the comment section and stuff like that. I think there is a here, let me jump off of this real quick. So I think there's a couple of things going on here. There is the influx, right? Just volume alone is going to throw off your percentages. But if you have, this is one of the things that I bring from kind of my supply chain and from manufacturing and stuff like that. Um, that's why I looked at the percentages and I didn't necessarily look at individual quantities and numbers, because if you have a solid process when it comes to manufacturing, when it comes to your business, when it comes to your output, and you have a certain performance level that you're monitoring with percentages, then if you're able to meet your demand and meet your supply, if your supply and your demand are well met, then your percentages should hold true throughout the volume. The volume shouldn't matter. Okay. So what does that mean in terms of PSA? That if PSA had a standard, a set standard that they always used, it doesn't matter if they have 50 million cards in the backlog or 5,000 cards in the backlog. Once they get through with all of those two percentages should hold. They should hold within a certain tolerance, plus or minus 5%. Okay. But there should not be this big drastic drop in percentages from 1 month to the next, from 1 year to the next. That means that something changed. Okay. And I don't think it has to do with volume. I think it has to do with the percentages. It has to do with the people that are grading these cards. So that leads me to my next thing, is that ultimately they had to meet demand. They didn't have. They had to meet supply, or the supply had to meet the demand. They didn't have enough people to handle their backlog. So they started hiring a bunch of new people, a bunch of inexperienced people who probably have never put a card together in their life. I can see a lot of those interviews where people were going, I'm not saying I saw them, but I'm saying I could imagine people going, hey man, I need a job. I got to pay rent next week. Yeah, I'm totally into basketball cards. I love basketball cards. I used to open them as a kid, right? And then they go, good, all right, you're hired, So, I think that's the inexperience of the people that are grading these cards is it's there. Okay, you can follow any YouTuber who has done bulk submissions for years now, and they brag about their gem rates being 50%, some of them even higher, and that's great, right? But I don't think that they are wrong when they get back 6s, 7s, and 8s, and you can't tell me that those guys don't know what they're talking about, and because of that, I have to put it on the person that's grading the card, and chalk it up to their inexperience. Okay, so that's I'll leave that second point at that, and then the third and final point that I think is in play here is just the absolute boom that has happened over the last 18 to 24 months in the hobby, and the amount of people that are subbing cards in order for the financial gain. The biggest thing that popped off was the investing side of things, right? And just the absolute skyrocket in the value of these cards, where I made mention to it earlier before, where somebody was grading a 86 Fleer rookie, that a Gem Mint 10 would have been a $10,000-$15,000 card. Now that Gem Mint 10 is a $250,000 card, and so there's some truth to that, or there is something there where a grader is looking at a card and is sweating because he's like, holy shit, if I give this the wrong grade, PSA might have to buy this back, and if it happens a certain amount of time, I could lose my job. So I'm gonna make damn sure that this isn't, I get this right. And maybe they weren't doing that before, maybe they were, but that's where I'm at, folks. I mean, like I said, I did the best I could in trying to pull the data and trying to be as objective as possible, and really, just making sure that as I was pulling this, I was trying to be, ask the questions that I would normally be asking from a hobby standpoint, and then using a little bit of my supply chain background to try to answer some of those questions and then seek out the data. So, let me jump in the chat real quick. All right, so we got some new folks in here. Let me see. Absolutely agree. PSA will not discredit themselves. PSA is not gonna kick themselves in the nuts. I guarantee you that. Larry's Classic Sports Videos. What's up? Oh, Larry's Classic Sports Videos. I might have to go check you out, bro. I hope you got some basketball stuff in there. Panini centering is awful. Yes, they are absolutely awful when it comes to centering. Let's see. Marvelous packs. Now it's like a gamble. A rip mass production 90s goodness. Feels like I'm playing craps. Yeah, I mean that's kind of how it goes. Southern Soccer Idiot. I just logged in and heard drastic drop in percentages, and that's not what I wanted to hear. Sorry, my man. I wish that wasn't the case, but unfortunately, there is a drastic drop in percentages of gym rates. So, Vazo, my man, I appreciate you. Much love. Thank you very much for your comments. Richard Turner, maybe because the competition is grading tougher, that made PSA move up their standards. Not a bad point, actually. Somebody said at the beginning of all this, when I was pulling this data, that PSA is looking to elevate a PSA 10 to the level of a BGS Black Label, and also elevated up to the level of a SGC 10 Pristine. So there may be something to that. I don't know. I think it was always one of those things where, I talked a little bit about how, the half grades, the fact that they don't have a 9.5 grade is really killing PSA. Because and then they don't have like a absolute flawless card grade. That's killing PSA, because I appreciate that from a SGC, from a HGA, from a BGS, even though I've never subbed with BGS, but SGC, where you can have a mint card, and it doesn't have to be a 10, right? You can have a 9.5 mint. You can have a 10. You can have a 10 Pristine. And the fact that they don't have that flexibility among that high caliber of grade, I think is really doing them a disservice. And doing the hobby a disservice, to be honest with you. So thanks for that comment, Richard. I appreciate it. I'm sorry. Sorry if I butchered that. Seems like definitely a statistical correlation of an inherent change in operations at PSA. Totally agree. Carlos de Jesus. I think what bothers everyone is the lack of transparency. If they were to own up to what they're trying to fix, it would be more respectable. I could not agree more. And I think that is probably my issue with PSA in general, just in general, is their lack of transparency and their lack of communication with the customers and the people who are ultimately paying the money to use their services. AI. Unier Guerra. Unier? I hope I said that right. Appreciate you dropping in, brother. Carlos, let's see. Brian French, what's up, buddy? Thank you for dropping in. We're kind of at the ass end of the stream here, but I appreciate you jumping in either way. David B, appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for watching, man. I'm just a lonely civil servant here. I appreciate it. Marvelous Packs, thanks. Let's see. What will be your thoughts on the regular sub prices when they reopen next year sometime? So my thing is, the only people who are really subbing right now at the $300 price point or the $200 price point are people who are looking to make money off of a card. I don't really see. And I say that very loosely because, I mean, let's face it. If I was to pull, I'm not subbing to PSA, but if I was somebody that was subbing to PSA, if I buy a pack of 2003 Topps Chrome and I pull a refractor LeBron James, I don't care what the price point is. I'm sending it in, right? Because it's your card, right? But it just ultimately, I think if they can ultimately get back down to listen, the days of $9 PSA grades, I think, are long gone. I think at bare minimum, we're going to see maybe a $15 price point, and just the regular turnaround, we're probably going to be somewhere in the $30 range. I just don't see them being any more expensive than SGC or HGA right now. So we'll see kind of how that goes. But that's my thoughts on that there. Marvelous. Donald Schaefer, what's up, buddy? Thanks for joining, man. I know we're kind of in the tail end of this, but I'm going to post this, and you guys can watch it again if you'd like. Lag. Oh, we got some lag. Did we get a little bit of lag? Brian French, thank you for that, man. I hope I didn't lag too bad. We'll see. Nicholas Leyland. Maybe it's because people are sending in cards that won't gym. Yeah, so we addressed that a little bit. Yeah, so there is gonna be that, but I don't think that's gonna make for a such a drastic drop in the numbers. So we'll see what goes on there. Transparency is a term that they don't understand. Totally agree. I don't think that's in their DNA to be transparent. MB, are you going to be doing a live stream on a normal schedule moving forward? I would love to, man. I think there's a lot of stuff that I would like to do. I got another experiment coming up with PSA cross gradings and things like that I think I'll probably once we kick things off and once things are going. I would love to do a weekly live stream like this. Obviously, I have a life. I got my kids and all that stuff, so it have to work around them and have to work around my schedule. So, but I mean, I definitely would love to continue to do live streams. It's the other one that I did on accident the other day. I mean, you guys showed up and that was dope. So I definitely would continue to do them. Let me see what else we got here. Unier, yeah, $30 to $35. That's what I think it is. Oh yeah, so I guess I lagged a little bit there earlier. Sorry about that. Internet, I mean, I don't know. We'll be interested to see cards coming back. They're at October 12th and sub date October 13th. Vintage cards, low grade 1 through 3 on the pop report. On a set 79 cards, will rock that EAT. Sorry, but I could not catch what you're saying there. Yeah, so I don't do group submissions. I do have a guy that I sub with on that I'll link his stuff in the description here. But no, I don't do them myself. I do have something in the works that's kind of just in the I guess the pondering stages. It's in my head, and I know what I'm trying, like the service that I'm trying to provide for the hobby. That we'll get into a little bit more as I kind of hash that idea out in my head and see kind of what goes on there. Eric S, how you doing, man? Welcome in. We're kind of on the tail end of the stream here. I already went over all the data and stuff, so you can check that out. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to address. You guys got any questions for me? I mean, this is like the first time I've ever been able to interact with you guys. And again, man, I still can't believe that there is 3,000 of y'all. I really can't, man. I think that this started off as something that was just for me and some of my family members that I would annoy on Facebook Live when I would go live and stuff like that. But a big thank you to both of my brothers who are watching right now, because they were the ones that gave me the push. They were the ones that told me, hey man, you should do this on YouTube. And they watched all my videos and said, hey man, you're pretty good at this, man. You should really keep going. So I absolutely appreciate them. And if it wasn't for them, I honestly wouldn't have kept going the way that I was going. So a big thank you to them, and a big thank you to you guys who subscribe and like and comment and share. I really enjoy doing this. I really do. This is fun for me. This is getting to mix, kind of what I do on a day-to-day basis at work with sports and with sports cards and what I love. So this is great. Thoughts on the rumors on PSA buying SGC Fact or Fiction? I think that is not. I think that's fiction, and here's why. Because I think PSA is if PSA was to make an offer to SGC to buy them out, and if I was SGC, that would be my confirmation that they're scared of me, right? I'm not saying that that's the case, but I think that they're scared, that they would be scared. Now, I did read something, and I'm not going to take credit for this. I swear I will find out who said this and where I saw this on a podcast. But it said something about BGS getting bought out. And while I don't think that if I had to think of any company that would get bought out, it would definitely be BGS. But the problem with that is that I think BGS is too big of a company, because you got to remember, BGS, yes, they're doing gradings, but they're also Beckett, right? I mean, it was a big thing. It's like a big conglomerate, right? So, and I think it's one of those scenarios where they're the ones that aren't making any noise right now. Like somebody asked me, like, why aren't you talking about BGS? Well, because first of all, they're like the kid that's in the corner eating glue while everybody's playing basketball, and they're silent. They're completely silent. And the other reason why I don't sub with them I was actually going to do a submission with them. I really was. And I went on their website to go ahead and do my submission, only to find out that I had to print out a piece of paper and fill it out with a, freaking quill and feather. It's like, what the what is this? Not 2021? I mean, can you not do an online submission thing? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I felt like, like it was back in the 80s and I was buying something out of the freaking mail-in catalog or something. It was so stupid. So I just once I saw that, I was like, you know what? Like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, there's no way for tracking. It's like, come on, man. Like, they can't, it's, if I can start a business and sell things online, then why can't they get their shit together and do it online? I just thought it was crazy when I saw that. I was like, it says print this out and fill it out. I'm like, print it out and fill it out. Like, what the hell is this shit? Like, so at that point I was like, all right, BGS is just like, I'm not even going there with them. I mean, I'm in Houston, they're up in Dallas. I could very easily drive up there. And if I was ever to hit a massive card, like, let's say that I just went absolutely stupid and I mortgaged my house, or I didn't pay my mortgage 1 month, and I decided to go out and buy a box of 96, 97 Topps Finest, and I pull a Kobe rookie refractor, holy shit balls, card. I would absolutely jump in my car, top load it, and absolutely jump in my car and probably drive to BGS and hand it over to them in the front door and literally wait in their lobby for them to grade that sucker. But they are up the street and they do have that ability for me to go over there and do that. But still, I'm not subbing with them. It's not anything crazy. But so that's my thoughts on them. But I do think they have an opportunity to get bought out. So if any company is going to eat the other company, it's definitely going to be BGS getting bought out by somebody. So we'll see. But thoughts on the rumors? Okay, no, that was it. So thanks for that, Natsman. I appreciate it. Inglorious P, do you believe that as bad grades come back from PSA, people will still be big on them? So one of two things is going to happen, right? As the gem rate goes significantly down, as we've already seen that it's doing, and as people are getting their cards back, then one of two things is going to happen. Either the price of a 10 is going to be highly elevated because it's going to be so scarce, or people are just going to completely turn their backs on PSA and say, hey man, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what you guys are doing over there. And I honestly think that's going to be the case, because the people who are getting back their cards and are upset with the grades the most, in my opinion, are going to be the group submitters, because those are the people who have been entrusted to submit cards to PSA, and they know what they're looking for. They're scanning these cards. They're doing all this stuff to make sure that the people that are submitting with them are going to get a PSA 10 and maximize the cost of their card. And so because of that, I think if those people start turning their backs on PSA, then that's going to be a really, really, really bad ripple effect for PSA. So we'll see what happens. I really don't see this turning out to be very good for them, in the long run. I appreciate that, Marvelous. Thank you for that nice comment. That's because let me see. I saw something in there. Somebody said something about the Rockets. I'm trying to find out where that was. I saw Rockets and I was like, oh, Rockets, I got to get back to that. Southern Soccer Idiot is SGC's ability to get cards back fast due to the AI implementation. I know PSA talks about Genomint, but I never heard anything about an actual technology that SGC is using. So again, to me, when a company can process something really quickly, it's because they have good processes in place. I just think that SGC, when they first opened up and they got that big massive wave and then they got put back, when they got behind and then they had to get everything together again and all that stuff, I think that was a big wake-up call for them, and they said, never again are we going to do that, and we're going to make sure that we can handle volume. And I think that from what I saw in the video, they really didn't go into a lot of detail in the video on Sports Card Investors, but I do think that they're set up a lot better than to handle the cards that they handle. And they're doing one of the things that I think was such a big success for HGA, which was making sure that they're not taking in any more cards than they can. And I think that was one of the biggest things that PSA did way too late that ultimately got them into the problems that they're in now. But I don't know of any AI or any or anything like that going on at SGC. But what I do know is that they have, high resolution scanners, much like HGA. They got all this stuff going on that they can do to really scrutinize and really look at the cards, right? So I think that's aiding them. And then also, let's just face it, SGC is not doing anywhere near the volume that PSA is doing. PSA is putting out the last time we looked at it, what was it like? I mean, they're putting out what was it? Let me see here. They're putting out 180,000 cards a week. They're putting out 35,000 cards a day. And I think SGC is putting out 4,000 a month or 5,000 a month, and so they're just not doing the volume, right? So they're able to handle things a little bit better, and obviously be a little bit more, careful with their processes and things like that. So I think that's more than anything what that's all about. Man, somebody said something about PSA. Somebody said something about Donald Schaefer. Not PSA related, but the Rockets have the second overall pick. Who do they choose? Okay, so I'm a diehard Rockets fan. Here's what I think they should do. And if Raphael Stone is smart and he's savvy enough, I would trade that pick. I would absolutely trade that pick, because I really believe in Christian Wood and KPJ going forward. I think that pick in the long run could be worth so much more in terms of talent, in terms of future draft picks. If they had to pick somebody, let me see draft. There's just so much going on right now in terms of like who they're gonna get and the mock drafts and all that stuff. I would like to see them make a big, splash and trade that pick, and see what's up. I would love to see Jalen Green. Okay, that's just my pick. If they choose to keep the pick, I would love to see Jalen Green. I think Jalen Green, KPJ, and Christian Wood, a healthy Christian Wood, would be ridiculous. Would be absolutely ridiculous. But that's just me. I was really sad when Daryl Morey left, but when they announced Stone, I was like, all right, he should be good. Let me see here. Class action with PSA is over. All right, what's up? Let me see here. All right, I'm gonna start wrapping it up here. Try to get through the last bit of these. I want to make sure I just kind of address anybody that took the time to leave a comment. I hope Kevin Porter Jr. gets his personal problems fixed. Listen, I totally agree, man. That was one of the big things, one of the reasons why we got him so cheap. I think he will. I think he's got a good support system here in Houston. They're used to handling folks like that. When we had Harden, you gotta remember Harden was a loose cannon when we first got him too, and he ended up doing pretty well. So I don't really think that's going to be an issue. I was very excited when we got him, and I think that whenever an organization, when the Cavs let him go, players find out what they got for them and all that stuff, and it was sort of like a slap in the face for KPJ, and just to have the Rockets be the organization to pick him up and ultimately going to work with him and get him going. I think he's going to do great here. So, let me see. I think that's going to do it, folks. I'm gonna chop this up and try to put these in, going forward. I really would enjoy, you guys, hit a like on, hit like on this live stream if you've been, with me, so far. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everything that you guys have done for the channel so far, and for me, interacting with you guys in the comments, and now me being able to do it live has been great. So I'm gonna schedule another one of these. I'll look and see what my schedule is. See what my schedule looks like, and hopefully do some more of these. I got a lot of stuff that we're doing. I mean, I've bought, some more lighting. I've bought some, just some stuff so that we can try to up the quality and up our game here. But I really want to keep kind of this, close, feel to what I do here. Because ultimately, like, all this stuff behind me, like, this isn't props. Like, I didn't set this up for this. This shit was here, and I just literally turned on a camera. And so, like, I live this shit. Like, I love this shit. This is, like, you guys, I wish I could see You know what? Maybe we can see. Like, I wish I could see like the rest of my walls, because like I have like this stuff is everywhere, like all the way down. Like I mean, this is not just, like I said, I didn't set this up just for, just because I started this channel. Like I do this, and I've been doing this for a long time. So I'm just happy that I was able to carve out like this little niche for myself, and found you guys who continue to watch and continue to be here every day that I drop a video. So that's just what it is. So let me see if I Tim Mose, yeah, man, you missed it, brother. There'll be plenty more. Trust me. We're gonna do a whole bunch more in the future. Nats, man, I would absolutely love to, brother. You let me know. Shoot me a message and let me know. Find me on Instagram, or you can find me on the hit me on the email. That'd be the best way to do it. Michael Runyon, again, thank you so much. Brian French, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Carlos de Jesus, much love, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Star Wars Living, thank you so much. Christian, thank you so much. I love you guys. I love all of y'all. And thank you for joining the first ever live stream that we're doing here. This is monumental for me. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And as always, peace.